are looking into this act. And what happens is that your soul begins to get engaged. And when your heart reacts. And when your heart reacts, the rest of your body starts to react. As these reactions are happening, they are the gates to your soul. And these gates are opening up, and what they're doing is also engaging into, they start to enter into the act that is happening. Now, these could be like, whatever the porn movie is all about, the blue movie. That's what we used to call them when we were younger. I don't know what the younger generation calls them. When your soul enters into a blue movie, the reason why it is the most hectic destruction is that your being connects with the next person when there is sexual activities going on. So it's a whole teaching. But anyway, so the point is, as this sexual relationship is happening and you're watching it, many other people are watching. That's why, the internet and television has become an exponential growth opportunity for sin. So what happens is that these things grow with you. You're connecting with the people that are in the act, and you're also connecting with every other person who's connecting with that same act. So a part of you, your essence, has been attaches itself to this video and to these people and to the soul and to the spirit that's behind it. And this then attaches to many other people. The problem is that you have then therefore attached yourself to individuals you cannot screen. You do not know. They could be evil people. They could be on drugs. They could bad things that they are doing. And before you know it, you start to have challenges in your life that you initially did not have. Okay, so let's just say I'm connecting to a porn, and the people that are watching there are murderers. So these murderers have judgment on their lives, which has to do with punishment. They attract the amount of chaos that has to do with murder. And because I'm also a part of them. And unfortunately, what we don't know is that the subconscious is more powerful. This is where reality happens. The thoughts, where our thoughts are, is where reality comes out, So your thoughts have now engaged onto this recording that is going on and on. So it's multiplying and multiplying. It's like a virus. And before you know it, you have chaos in your life. I used to initially be a straight person, and before I know it, I'm now lying, thieving, stealing. And so I've activated in my being gates to attract a lying, cheating, all sorts of person. So when these gates have opened up, this is the situation where you get to network with a very wicked person, whether it's a woman, whether it's a man, and this person comes into your life, they literally wreck your life. I know of people who've lost belongings, they've lost their work status, they've lost everything because they have connected with it started off in the mind, and then it played out in a video, and before they know it, it became a part of them, and that connection then led to the natural manifestation, which is to attract these weird looking women. So you'll find a decent, well-raised young lady is somehow attracted to a very bad person. And you cannot understand the connection, what's going on there, because what's in the spirit is much more powerful than what we see in the natural. The natural, then it just plays out what is already happening in the spiritual. So with that is where also a lot of our hurdles are. And if you have been participating in such activities, you need to shut that out. You need to shut that gate, and you need to start to close all your gates, the gates to your soul, from your eyes, your being, and you need to actually start to confess, put your soul on a rehabilitation program where you are feeding it positive things in order for you to attract a positive person into your relationship. Okay, so that is very serious. I think also, what is also serious is when you have multiple partners. Um, I've got a friend of mine, he came to me yesterday, he was like, oh, you're so hot, I need to hook you up with somebody, you just need somebody just to shag with, and I said, no, that's wrong, you can't be sleeping around and believe that there are no consequences. The consequences are so dire. You hook up with a guy or a girl, and usually you have no idea who they are. You don't know what is plaguing their lives, what it is that they're driving. When we grew up, we had a saying that you should only get married to the people that people from your tribe, because you could hear a family history of someone. You could hear the history. This family is comes from such and such a family. Now we are living in a global world. We have no idea of knowing what type of family this person is coming from. They could be coming from families of murderers. And that same judgment that is flying around with that person attaches itself onto you. And you start to attract the chaos that has to do with judgment. Now, this chaos, when it comes into your life, what it also means, failure, you fail to attract your right partner. You also then, your essence, important things, maybe your ancestral heritage that you have earned, that your family has earned. Say, for example, of being straight family that have a respect for human dignity and life, and by having that family ancestry, you have earned the privilege to be able to climb up the corporate ladder, to succeed, to acquire property, possess it. You start to lose that. So you then start to lose all of that, and this is where the point where we say that your soul, you start to lose your soul. And as you're losing your soul, your real soulmate, who maybe perhaps may not have engaged in such activities, you may even be sitting next to them, or you may meet them so many times, but your souls will fail to recognize each other. So if you look at it as a computer virus, we're saying that it's that virus that has entered your motherboard, and the system that's now in you is now corrupted, and the next program, which is your soulmate, who's sending out the signal, cannot connect with you anymore, because now it's two different systems trying to talk to each other, and you will fail. And in that case, what then starts to happen, it's a degeneration. And I've seen a lot of people, I've walked that journey, I've also made that kind of mistake, and I lost everything because I was so convinced that I had the power to lift up a person from a certain level to get them to this level. And two, I wasn't willing to listen to my soul. I wanted what I wanted, and I wanted it there and then. And I had no idea how I would have to work to get back to who I really had to be. And the tragedy of it is that the universe enabled me to get a glimpse of who my soulmate was. And when I met him, I was incapable of sustaining that relationship, because I now had all this baggage that was coming in from the previous relationship, and all that corruption that had happened to my soul was now part of it, and he couldn't recognize me, and we had to separate. So it's really, really serious, and I hope we can all take that seriously. Then the other barrier that comes in is judgment. This is very serious. When you judge you judge a thing. When you judge, when you say, look, I I've seen bad things happening to people in relationships. Relationships are bad. You've made a negative judgment. What that does, it engages a universe of judgment. And when that judgment starts to follow you, you will have series of bad relationships. And all because you have made a judgment. Now, that's also quite serious, because you will struggle. And even judgments such as, it's not an achievement, oh, we don't need it, oh, this and that. That judgment you're making, which is contrary to the source, to the nature of the institution you want to be part of. Because if you want to be part of it, you have to believe it's a good institution. It's like signing up for your university degree. There's no way you're going to go and get a degree from an institution that is not accredited. So marriage is accredited. It's been tested for age and memorial. We have seen it. We see it with our eyes. People who are married have progress in their lives. They have joy, they have peace, they have miracles that happen that don't necessarily happen. We also enjoy miracles as single people, but what I'm saying is that it's at a higher accelerated level. Why? Because the need is greater. It's like when you get married, you create capacity for bigger things. You want to make a lot of money, you're making $1 million. Guess what? Getting into a marriage, a right one, with the right person, whose DNA is a perfect jigsaw puzzle to you. Guess what? You will not just be making 1 million, you will make 10 million, because these are the laws that are existing, because you have created capacity for bigger things, But again, the attitude and the heart behind it needs to be right. You can't think that you can get into it if you have a negative perspective to it. So judgment is really, really quite wrong. And then the other thing that also causes a barrier is your environment. Environment is so important. If you surround yourself with the environment that does not value the institution of marriage, you will not be able to attract that into your life. So the best bet would be to hang around with people who are married, observe them, and it's true, it's like gold dust. It starts to rub off on you, and you also will start to attract your soulmate. And finally, I want to talk about other issues such as your ancestry, your inheritance, where you're coming from. That also creates a lot of barriers. And so in my next series, I'm going to be talking about how can we break out of these barriers, So just to recap, we said, things like, so first and foremost, you need to embrace the message the soul is sending. You need a soulmate, you need a partner, you need a solid, meaningful, purposeful relationship. Embrace the message, start to listen to it, send out, when you start to embrace it, a message is sent out to the universe echoes back to you. If nothing is coming, it means, oh girl, you need to get ready, boy, you need to work hard, because you are nowhere close to meeting that person, and it means maybe perhaps you need to work on your attitude. You need to look at what are the barriers that you are faced with right now. Why are there no responses coming through? And if they are, why am I going to interview 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and not making it to 6? And like I said to you, you need to take stock. And when you take stock, you need to know, have I made judgment? What is my ancestry looking like? What is my environment, and what have I surrounded myself with? The people that I'm surrounded. What is it that I'm hearing? Is my soul attached to some form of death creating activities? And so again, there are also processes on how to get out of those death activities. And then the final one is sticking around and the timing is not right. So those are the 5 barriers that we are faced with. I hope you are enjoying this series on relationships, and that it's creating light and giving you hope for the future.